Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. Then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond, because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When your back's to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard? Son, WrestleMania 17, me and The Rock gonna go out there and no holds barred. JT and Aaron coming at you here every weekend on the North South Connection video,
bringing the static electricity
and audio on any podcast application, YouTube for all your video needs, and of course follow us across all social media: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where we're currently counting down every single WrestleMania match ever in short video form. Minute or less, myself and Ryan Gray, all 402 WrestleMania matches. It may kill us, it may not. Just like No Holds Barred, last episode almost killed us, going through the Ultimate Royal Rumble Build-A-Card. All kinds of fun,
ridiculous
projects and titillation here on this podcast.
So much fun.
Well, this is a fun project we're doing. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Go.
No, I was gonna say, I was about to say, like, this is one of the, we've arrived at a match that is generally well regarded in our quest to find the greatest WWF WWE title change of all time. But you and I are both historically a little bit down on it.
We are a little low, and I don't know what it is. So maybe this viewing will change it for me. I don't know. It's not the end. Everyone will, you just don't like the end. But no, I don't know. It's something else about it. For whatever reason, that never clicks. And just to explain the project really quick, we're going through every WWE World Title change ever. We're rating it across a series of categories and then ranking them all. So we've done quite a few matches so far, Aaron. How many have we done?
60.
All right. So this is the 61st. No, this is the 60th.
No, this is 60th. We've done 59.
So this is our 60th. It's pretty cool. This is a pretty monumental match. It'll be the 60th title change in company history.
Do you remember at first when we just did 3 of them in a night?
Yeah. And now we go way in the
idiots.
Well, now we live watch and dive deep. All right, so tonight is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17 in Houston, and like you mentioned, it's held up as potentially one of the greatest matches in company history, one of the greatest WrestleMania main events in company history, one of the greatest world title matches in WrestleMania. But we'll see if it'll crack our top. I mean, I should crack the top 10. I would assume. We'll see if it gets.
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
Yeah.
Like I would be legit shocked if it didn't.
If you're watching a video, you would have seen the categories thrown up quickly by producer, not the tool man, Tim Taylor. And you can see here it's match quality, significance, the moment, build, and aftermath. So.
Yeah, and Bill Apter will be proud of us. And we each give it a score out of 10, which gives us a nice round score out of 100. And as it stands right now, our range, our very top show has 94 match has 94 points, and our bottom match has 16. So big difference. I would say the average is somewhere around 50.
I'll try and get to the upper echelon. All right, we are paused on the Peacock at 3:09 even. You get The Rock is about to ascend the top rope. Austin standing behind Earl Hebner behind him. We're going to go ahead and
with his belly sticking out.
Go ahead and hit play in 3, 2, 1, go. I like that. I mean, Rock entered second, which tells you, like, in their eyes, I mean, he's their world champion, but still, like, Austin was always the guy over him. But, you know.
For those watching along, just pause for a sec. We just had a quick technical issue. We are now paused at 3:09. Let's call it 21. Rock is in the corner, kind of flailing off an Austin punch. That's on the Peacock timestamp.
Wait, Rock is flailing?
He's flailing.
Never did that.
Woo! All right, let's count it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. I love Rock's flailing, and I love the hot start to the match. I do like that there's no bullshit. There's no headlocks. Austin's trying to hit him with the belt 5 seconds into the match. It's just punches. It's furious.
And it goes into the story in Austin's character, right? That he was obsessed with the world title. That's all he cares about here. And he's going to be a maniac since he has his chance to get it back here.
Yeah, of course. And I always imagine too that Austin knows he's got to win fast for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah.
Like, like, I don't know I can't remember if they're telling the story. I'm not listening to the commentary now, but like, a lot of times, like the commentators will go in like, oh, if this thing goes long, it favors so-and-so. Like, I believe that if the match goes long, it favors The Rock. He's younger, he's in better shape, hasn't had his neck broken.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Austin's still only 4 months back from the neck injury. I mean, he just come back in October, November. He'd only really had one great match so far, which was Triple H at No Way Out. I think he may have had a couple of stuff on TV, but I guess he had Hell in a Cell, but that was a lot of people.
But he doesn't have to carry that.
Yeah. So this is like, I mean, the stadium looks awesome. Like everything about it, looks
and
big.
It's immediately going to be elevated too. Again, we're not listening to it, but Heyman and JR on commentary. Mm-hmm. Like that team is really strong. Like I do you like them more than JR and King?
Yeah. It's like a poor man's Gorilla Jesse, Gorilla Bobby comp. You know what I mean? Like Gorilla and Bobby, if you kind of prefer like the comedy and the shtick, right? You probably prefer maybe Ross and King if you kind of are into that. If you like kind of the serious antagonist heel, that's just kind of a douche, like Jesse and Heyman are similar. I mean, Heyman and JR at 01 is like one of my favorite teams ever. So I guess I would say yes, I prefer them. But I could see why people might like King and JR better, I guess.
I find it's the closest thing to Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And even Heenan, but really Jesse, because Heyman's funny, but Heenan is the funniest. Jesse's the more serious, and Heyman's kind of in between both.
The only guy that I thought... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, the only other guy I thought ever got close to that Jesse level was early JBL. Not later JBL when he gets all yuck. But the early, the early JBL in like 05, early 06 with Cole. Like I thought he got close to that Jesse level.
Does that character on a commentary team need to be a wrestler? Or someone like entrenched in the business like Bobby Heenan? Well, Bobby Heenan was a wrestler too, but you get the idea. Like, does that color guy need to be a wrestler to like bring out like the heel tendencies?
Historically, even in sports, right? The analyst is generally someone who's had some role. They usually give that job to, former people that are in the business or former athletes, as Jerry told George Costanza when he wanted to get to sports announcing.
Or unless you're TNA and you just hire the infomercial guy.
Well, he was great. So maybe he's
an
exception to the rule. Yeah, he might be the exception to the rule. But yeah, mostly I do think that adds the credibility to it. Both for Jesse and Heyman. I like Heyman. I think I prefer Heyman pre-invasion. He's great in the invasion too, but it gets a little bit too much us versus them constantly. I
agree. And I love that like JR was still bitter towards him before the invasion.
Yeah.
Like, still hated him. Like, well, let's have a parade, like
Austin.
Yeah, I like all the stops
first 4 months. Yeah, he's going all out. It's a hectic match, but it's constant Rock strikes back. It's not like a prolonged segment yet.
Well, Rock has been proven he's been able to take everything Austin's given him.
Yeah.
Right. But I really like the pace so far. Like it already look, we were set off the bot. We're like low on it. I'm still high on it, but it feels like an all-time classic already. Like he just did that awesome like belly to belly throw, near falls.
Yeah, when we say we're lower on it, for me it's like 4 3/4. Like I'm still super high.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not that.
Yeah.
Not that 5.
Yeah.
But maybe it will be. We'll see. This is also the first time they're really fighting as equals. In the IC division, Austin is already above him in 97.
Past the IC.
Yeah, right. In 99, Austin's above him. Rock, it kind of takes the bells and whistles and the corporation to really be on the toe-to-toe with him. So this is really the first time they come in where they're like both presented in that Hogan Warrior, two gods at the top of their powers battling.
Is this the biggest matchup since Warrior Hogan? Probably, eh?
Yeah. So
Maybe
what's
Austin
the
Undertaker.
Earl falling? Yeah. I mean, what's the lineage? You got Hulk Andre. I mean, you could probably even go Hogan Piper. I guess Hogan Piper. It would
Sure.
have settled the score.
But Piper's
Then-
still a heel. I find like when you get to Hulk Warrior, it's different because they're both faces,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't
I guess
necessarily
the
have to be
gods
a face
level.
match.
So yeah, if you go Hogan Andre, Hogan Warrior, Austin Rock, I think that path makes sense. I could see Taker Austin being put in there though.
Austin Taker at SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah.
What about Taker Brett? Were they ever put as equals? But they're not gods. Brett was never a god.
Yeah, they're not at that level.
I would argue Undertaker's not even a god, like the way Hogan and Warrior and Austin are.
The only thing that makes Taker Austin so big is that they build it as such a big deal. Like the Highway to Hell
Yeah.
stuff. It feels like two like massive stars clashing. But what's
There
the
were a
next
lot of
one?
stop signs though on the way there. The next one, Batista Cena, I guess.
At 08, SummerSlam 08.
SummerSlam.
And
I
then
think.
Cena and Rock at WrestleMania 28 probably is the next one.
Yeah.
That's of that lineage.
Yeah.
It's a poor man's version of it, but it's of that.
It's a poor man's version only because if it had happened 5 years earlier, it would be on par.
Right.
But Rock had been gone too long. The table's already smashed. JR, I love JR trying to figure out what to do with his papers. It's just like because the table.
What am I doing with papers now?
I gotta hang on to what is he referencing at this point that he still
Right.
needs? Like,
Right, that he doesn't
does he
know.
really
Yeah.
need the format sheet at this point? No,
Right,
there's
there's gonna be
not someone
something he's
screaming in his
gonna-
ear.
Right. He's going to be pretty aware of all the facts at this point.
Yeah. Rock's selling is a bit underrated too. I know he gets silly with like a lot of the flailing, but like he's pretty good at selling. Like his facial expressions for the seller, very good.
You know, I think I know what spot bothers me, and we'll call it out when we get there.
Yeah.
One spot Rock was always weak in, I think that hurts him a little bit, is his bleeding. He just sucked at it. Like isn't he
doesn't
busted
bleed
here and it's
now.
like barely bleeding? Yeah. It always dries up fast and it's like never a big cut.
Is that a Samoan thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, did many of them? I feel like we don't get a lot of blood. Because Reigns doesn't bleed either, really.
Do they bleed?
I mean, they bleed their own blood. Rock is bleeding here. It just looks
Yes.
more like a scratch.
Look, honestly, you're always gonna have less success with the blood with darker skin and darker hair,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, look, Ric Flair is the perfect guy for it because he's not tan, he's tan, but he's pale, and his hair is bright white. Right?
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, it looks good here. It's just I feel like he used to always clot up quick. Like you never get that
Yeah.
pouring consistency that others. So like I don't even know if it's even a tone thing because to me, like here
what's
it
the
looks
best
good.
blade job? What's the best blade job from a wrestler of color?
I mean, Abdullah the Butcher bled like every fucking match.
Yeah,
so
that's a good one.
probably in there somewhere.
Yeah. But you know
I'm
what I
sure-
mean, right? Like,
I'm sure there's
it's
others,
a
yeah.
weird kind of avenue to go down, but I'm curious if that affects it, right? Because visually it just doesn't, the red doesn't pop as much.
Yeah.
Whereas Austin has no hair, so it becomes his hair.
Right.
Oh yeah, Swerve at Texas Deathmatch at Full Gear. Yeah, that was great. But even then, it didn't look great. Well, anyway, it looked great when it's pouring into fucking Hangman's mouth. Now Austin's taking him to school. Austin's beating him pretty solid for the last like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Stomping on his head. Is this a no DQ match at this point? It is, right?
Yeah, I think they say it. It was like the attitude trope where they would say it like during the intros, pretty much. Like this is now no disqualification.
This is just a reminder.
JR always acts surprised. What do you mean?
And I don't know what's Hebner doing in there? Trying to break it up then. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, rocket clothesline from Rock out of the corner. Love
And
that
Earl almost
spot.
got wiped out during that. I like that he dodged it.
I know. Yeah. He does not have the same timing as the referee that Shawn Michaels does in the Undertaker Bret Hart match.
Correct. See, look, the blood's already drying up.
And maybe it's just a good clotter.
Yeah.
It does look. It looks good though. It looks good there. That one
It
shot
does
where
look good.
his
Yeah, it
head-
looks good.
Yeah,
It's just there's not a consistent flow.
I could see how someone could see it and think it's fake.
Yeah. Ironically, people used to think Flair's was fake because the color of his hair made it so fake, like bright red looking, that it almost looked.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching WrestleMania 8 and my cousins, and like everyone there thinking for sure it was fake blood because of like how pink it looked in his hair.
How
you know?
much? And how
How
much
much
there
it is
was?
the color of it.
And then you got Brett, who just cuts down to the fucking bone every time he.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you get guys like him or Austin, Hunter.
yeah.
Hunter. That
Hunter
you
Hearst
know
Helmsley.
bleed buckets. You'd be happy what you did, Hunter. You happy?
I think
Proud?
Austin's about to bleed now. Oh, he's already
There we
bleeding.
go. Yeah, he's already busted open.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
show
a
what
big
damn
fan
play
of bell
job looks
shots.
like.
Oh, it looks great. Pouring it.
Yeah, you don't get enough bell. Yeah, you don't get enough bell shots.
No, I love the bell, and I love when it makes a sound. That's the best. Like,
Yeah. Dang.
okay, so it was the turnbuckle that busted him out. Look, so far the pace of this thing has been incredible, and everything's believable. Everything makes sense, and it feels like a war between the two guys.
It feels like a fight. It feels like an argument. It doesn't feel like
Sounds.
there's a.
Probably not getting a power driver.
It doesn't feel like there's like an extended heat segment, or it's just like a back and forth fight.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not been many moves. It's just punches and elbows and kicks, but I don't mind. Like, based on what this feud was, based on the matches they've had in the past, this one, look, I'll commend these two. 3 WrestleMania matches and 3 very different matches. Like,
and they had other matches beyond those. So it's not like they only had to do 3 across 6 years. It's like they also had other ones to mix up. Even WrestleMania 15 to Backlash is like variants, you know?
Yeah. I love Rock's intensity in his face too. Like, there's no fucking around in this. Like, I'll never forget him in the beer truck. There's something Austin says. Everybody talks about the beer truck and the beer bath and all that. But I love that Austin, when he got on the top, he looks him in the eyes and he goes, "You better get serious because I'm fucking coming for you." It was something along those lines.
Right.
And that's what I feel we're getting here. Like, we didn't get it in 99. We're getting it here.
Yeah. And Rock, you know, he had to really change in 2000, right? Because like he became the top guy. He still did his comedy shit, but like he definitely got more serious and had more wrestling matches and fights in 2000 with the types of guys he had to go up against, like Kurt Angle and Benoit and Triple H and everyone else. So it was a lot less of the shticky stuff, and that built him to this point.
If Austin is healthy, is this the match in 2000?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like
Hard
they
to
were
say,
heading
right?
that way. I don't know, because they wanted Triple H. Yeah. I could see it being...
Maybe it's a triple threat.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe they run back Survivor Series with the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, yeah, maybe they were marching toward Rock, Triple H, and then Austin versus Big Show. Like, that could have been also potential.
Yeah, I guess.
Austin Benoit.
Austin Big Show would have been boring, though, because he already beat him, right? Like,
yeah. They could have done Austin Benoit if they wanted to rocket push Benoit.
Yeah, then you're freeing up Jericho.
Well, you do Jericho Angle, just do straight up.
By itself, yeah. They put Benoit over Austin?
I think the most likely is that they were going to run back the Survivor Series triple threat.
The triple threat? Yeah, I think so, too. And it's very likely that Triple H... You think he's...
Yeah, I think he just never loses the belt. I think he just wins at a Survivor Series, and then I think Rock beats him at Mania in the 3-way.
Oh, you think you mean like he holds on to the belt at Survivor Series?
I think he only lost because they wanted to make up for Austin being out. So I think they had Big Show win because he loses it back 6 weeks later. So I think Hunter never loses the belt in that run, and then he either do a triple threat or they do him Rock, and I think Rock wins at Mania.
It's interesting to see how much that would change, because that would probably change the Cactus Jack stuff too.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and maybe you have Big Show retire a Cactus.
No, I think you still do Triple H and Cactus.
Yeah, on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because Austin and Rock can be in the Rumble. You know?
Right. Maybe you do the fuck finish with them instead of Big Show.
Yeah, and then you have them fight at No Way Out, and then maybe it's another fuck finish, so they just get thrown in.
Yeah.
If only
All right,
there were
so this
mini
is my-
series on YouTube. Yeah. You're very right, Ken. You're very right.
This is the spot I don't like right here. This bugs me. They call back to 13. Rock has a shitty sharpshooter on. Austin's screaming with the blood. They're trying to recreate it, which I give them whatever.
Yeah, it
Props,
looks
I
great.
guess,
And
but-
you know what? It's not a horrible sharpshooter from Rock.
Nah, yeah, I guess for him it's not bad.
Yeah, like right here, this shot is good. Even
Yeah.
here, I think it's okay.
Nah, see, Rock doesn't lean back enough.
Yeah, I know.
I just hate his sharpshooter. His legs are too long. I don't know why he adapted that move. He should have just done something else.
Yeah,
He's too tall. It worked so great for Brett and for Owen and for Sting because they're not that tall. So
They're
it
not that
looked like they
tall.
were really sinking in deep because
yeah.
they
Now
were
it's lost. Yeah,
because they were so short.
Because,
And
yeah,
compact.
yeah. It's like once the guy starts trying to crawl out and he has
Yeah.
to kind of lean forward, that's when it
Right.
loses
Yeah.
everything. But it wasn't the worst one he's ever done. That's for sure.
No. And I'm wrong on the blade. I mean, he is not dried up at all in this match.
I know he's bleeding like crazy now.
Yeah, they're both bleeding pretty good.
Yeah, I would say Rock's blade job is better than Austin's almost. Not almost. I think it is.
I don't know. They're both pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, now that they're going for the sharpshooter again. I do like the middle finger in the face, and then it cost him. Like it
Yes.
fucking cost him. Like Rock got too angry. Oh,
No, Austin's doing it, and he's doing it much better.
Yeah. Well.
But again, he's not as tall, so like it's
Yeah.
that little bit of difference in the leg size.
Yeah. I love Austin grabbing the knee pad, and what a great shot with him screaming.
Yeah.
What a great character moment it would have been if fucking Rock had passed out here.
And Austin won
And
that.
that's how Austin won the title. Like, I want more of the match as I'm watching it, but that would have been cool. Also, I mean, look, not for nothing, but Austin has a much more deep technical background than Rock.
Yeah. Rock, I don't think it's even his technical ability. I think he's just his legs are too long, so it doesn't allow him to sink in. It would have been better if he adapted like the Boston Crab or the Walls, but Jericho was doing it, so they couldn't.
Yeah, he doesn't even need a submission hold. Like, not everybody has to have a submission hold. I know in this area, in this time frame, everybody did, but yeah, he could. Like, Rock was over enough. He had the people's elbow at the Rock bottom. It was fine.
Yeah.
I love the contrast that Rock powered out of the hold, but Austin couldn't.
Right.
STF. The Rock says STF.
We're just going too much to the sharpshooter now. It's like back to it again with Austin.
I guess because it's working. I love this spot where Hebner's telling him to let go and he won't because there's no DQ. Because why would he let go?
Right. Well, I always looked at it this way. Like, there's always complaints about the rope break and no DQ, but I just take it as you can't win with the guy in the ropes. So it's not that you're going to get disqualified. It's that no matter what, even in a no DQ match, a rope break still breaks a hold. So when he gets to the ropes, you may not get disqualified, but he can't tap out when he's in the ropes.
I guess my problem with it is that they still try to break it up.
Right.
Like, if the ref didn't break it up, I'd be fine with that. It's just he has to, like, put him in the sharpshooter to his unconscious, then cart him to the center of the ring. Austin,
I agree.
$1 Million Dream.
That's a good
Whispering
callback,
sweet nothings. Yeah. I can't remember if Rock does the flipping pin. I think he does, but
well, I do like that Austin always went deep into his bag to the $1 Million Dream when he's in like these. Oh, that's a great visual.
Yeah.
Austin's bug eyes. He always went to that move in his big matches. It's like his desperation, but it does fuck him almost every time.
And it fucks him
You'd
right
think
here.
He'd stop doing it. Yeah, you'd think he'd stop doing it because now it's like every time he does it.
Yeah. And it would be shitty if that was the finish.
No, yeah, you couldn't do that. But I do like that he goes that it's always like almost a default autopilot when he's like in deep into tough matches. He like breaks it out.
He's got to break out the sharpshooter. I love that we're starting to see the desperation on Austin's face too. This is so good with Rock still down and Austin hovering over him. This is the kind of character shit that's missing in matches today. Like Reigns is pretty good at it, but like I feel it's vanished from the rest of the company. Those little touches where it's like, I'm gonna look at you for a second longer before I pick you up. I'm gonna make you crawl up my body. Rock hits the shitty stunner.
Yeah, this is like
you forgive
finisher spam.
Do you forgive the shitty stunner because it's not his move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't really forget the sharpshooter unless that is move either, but
well, it kind of is now.
He does say it.
Like it kind of
has a sharpshooter.
But it is kind of his now. Like nobody else in the company is doing it, right?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
Benoit would break it out every now and then.
Right.
Oh, here comes Vince. Vince still dressed from the match earlier.
Yeah.
Do you remember watching live? What do you think? Watching it live, what did you think was happening? Do you remember?
I'm trying to think if there were rumors of Austin turning, like that. It was kind of like, oh, here we go.
If there were, I didn't know though. I didn't hear them at all. Like that was completely.
I think I just assumed he was going to just try and mess things up.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, Rock was tipping heel a little bit, and that's just usually how they would go to it. So maybe I just figured. But there might have been some rumblings because I feel like we were sitting there thinking, oh, I hope they don't do it. You know? So there must have been some chatter somewhere. Because I definitely remember thinking, like, they can't have them together. So I do think there was some talk.
Is there a reason why Hebner counts fast sometimes and slow others when he's not hurt?
I don't think he even knows. I think he just gets lost in the moment.
I'm sorry, Brett. I said I was sorry. That's all that's on his mind. These guys, I like. These guys have really great Irish reversals for both of them. They're very intense the way they whip around. We get a people's elbow here. I think we are.
It's one of the few times it feels earned because Austin definitely does feel dead after that.
Yeah. He hit him with the hard enough with that spine buster. Thank God Vince is at ringside and not like seeing him not do this to the hard camera. Imagine how mad he'd be. Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess is where you start to piece it together. I don't like that because the people's elbow should not be enough to finish Austin. That should not need Vince to save him.
No. Look, I can forgive it because there's been so much stuff already. They've been fighting for half an hour. So I could see at this point, like, it hurting him. But yeah, Rock is going to murder this man. Yeah, Vince, he's going to chase him down. Vince is such a weird runner. He's just weird. His body doesn't work the way a normal human.
No real athleticism.
No. Oh, nice. Rock took that rock bottom like a champ. I would imagine that's a move that like is all on the person taking it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really got to leap. So I mean, I guess they're tipping at this point that Vince is pro Austin, even though they haven't really. Or is he more anti-Rock? You know, like they haven't said fully yet, but
yeah, I see. I just don't know, right? I don't remember. I don't remember any rumblings because I remember at the time thinking, "What the fuck is happening?"
Right.
Because the idea of Vince being with Austin is so wrong.
Yeah.
Hebner just took a ridiculous bump, by the way. He rolled out of the ring in his arms. It's like he was. Imagine him trying to do a cartwheel. But not quite hitting it. Yeah, and Vince looks concerned for The Rock though too. Like that's why it's strange. Like it's a strange call. But now, get me the chair.
Yeah, see, this is where they lose me a bit. Like this is such an epic classic. Like imagine Hogan Warrior and like Jack Tunney's in the ring with the fucking chair. I don't know. I guess like.
I would have been interesting, Jack Tunney. But yes, I agree. It
just ruins like or even if Bobby got in the ring and Hogan Andre, you know, like Bobby doesn't get involved in that match, right? Like, if Bobby had been in the ring, hitting Hogan with a chair, I don't know.
But I guess I mind it less. I don't like it, and it's going to end up hurting the match for me. But I guess I could defend it by saying, like, the story is Austin can't do it on his own anymore.
Yeah,
like
I just don't like the story.
So, no, I agree. I would have rather seen Austin pull it out cheating on his own.
Yeah, or like they could have done it way more subtle, right? Like than what they do here, where the ref goes down, Austin hits the stunner, he stands over him, and he's like, "All right, is that enough?" And Vince just kind of shoves a chair in the ring, and you don't know who he's throwing it to. Austin picks it up, hits Rock, and beats him. And then you explain. My whole beef is that they should just do all this shit the next night. Have them join forces the next night, but end this show with Austin. Yeah, and producers note, like Tim is saying here, like I think the worst was how long it takes from Vince's first, interference till the end, which I agree, it's a long time. And that's why I think if it's just like if it's more nuanced, and then they explain the next night that it was on purpose, that's fine. But end this night with Austin winning without Vince standing with him and all that. Like let the fans have the moment of that night, and then do the heel turn the next night.
Yeah. Or do the heel turn in the match in a way like I actually love what's about to happen. I think it's one of my favorite finishes if Vince wasn't there. I love what he's about to do. He's going to take that chair and he's going to fucking pound him until he's jelly and there's nothing left. And then he's going to keep pounding him until he's dead. I love that finish. And I think that's the finish to turn him heel. Because it's like,
and then my God, he went. You can tell Vince have slid the chair in and then leaves. Not that he stands here and celebrates, right? Yeah, this is where it gets silly with him in the ring. Like it's just
telling him to be champion.
It's overkill. I think he should have slid the chair in. You don't know whose side he's on. Austin grabs it, stares at it, and then just beats the shit out of Rock and pins him. Then the next night you reveal that Vince was on his side.
Was in cahoots. But I will say, all of Austin's performance here, like of the shock, of the anger, the stuff with Vince is incredible. How mad he is. Like this is like top tier pro wrestling in terms of a character, in terms of telling a story as a character.
Yeah, and it sets up his wonderful heel turn and his character work as a heel. I mean, it's tremendous.
Yeah, it's so good. That first hug where he's staring off in the distance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, I love this. I love this finish.
Yeah,
like he's going so. He's going so crazy. He's missing him with the chair.
Right.
And it still gets a fucking massive pop.
This is why they should have held off at, the heel turn and just do him and Vince together the next night. Just have Vince put the chair in the ring and leave. And that's all we needed. Yeah. We didn't need him being part of the show here. Let Austin have his moment.
Yeah. Or don't like you can still turn Austin heel without aligning him with Vince. Like to me, the problem with this whole thing is that this should never happen, right? It reminds me of like, look, when Jimmy Hart started managing Hogan, I was like, oh, that's odd. Like, I don't really like that. But if Bobby Heenan had started managing Hogan, it would have been like, no way, come on. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
I mean, but I do like Austin begging for his affection later. Like I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should have stunned him. They should have called it audible and stunned him.
It almost should have come from Austin wanting Vince's approval than whatever Vince's bullshit was.
Well, that's why I think right here he stuns him, and then the next night they kind of be like, that's a reminder. Yeah, we're working together, but you still can't trust me, and I'm going to use you until I'm not.
But do you like me?
Right.
He's got to have that so we can get to the affection later.
Yeah. I think him stunning Vince here could have salvaged the very end. All right, let's get to our categories.
Sure.
All right, match quality.
Okay. So it's not a 10.
But it's not a 9.
Is it a 10?
I think I'm closer to a 10 than a 9. So I think for this project,
I'm closer to 10. It's a 10.
Yeah, I think for this project, it's a 10. I think on a straight grade, I would go 4.75 still.
Yeah, that's mine. It's just the ending. Sharpshooter doesn't bother me, but the fact that Vince is there. Not even the turn. I can live with the turn. I can live with the beating to jelly.
Yeah. It's
significance.
stuff.
It's high. Like it has to be high. Is this the end of the Attitude Era right here?
Well, my take is always that it's the peak of the Attitude Era, not the end.
Right.
I always look at the Attitude Era starting at 14, peaks at 17, ends at 19. That's always been my take on it. Because from here to 03 is still a lot of attitude stuff in 01 and 02. I always felt like 17 is like the absolute best it's ever done, the peak of it all. And then from there, it's a slow decline. And at 19, the night after 19 starts the new era. Whereas the rise of Cena, Goldberg, Rock is gone, Austin's retired, Triple H starting his reign of terror. Like that feels like a new era to me.
Yeah, it's funny because I almost view Austin turning heel as like the dawn of a new era, and then throw in the Invasion. Like when you get to July or even June, it's basically Invasion until WrestleMania 18. Because even though the Invasion dies at Survivor Series, the NWO comes in right after. Right?
Well, do you picture 3 as the end of the original Hogan era, or the peak? Because you can argue it's a downswing from 3 to 6. And I think 6 is the end of that era, like the end of the Hogan era. And then it kind of kicks off the new, then you have like a little bridge there until the new generation. But
it's just really hard to gauge because they're a hard comparison because at least if you take the peak of 3 and the peak of 17, they're a hard comparison because right after 17, everything changes. Whereas
not that much
like,
though. It's still all the same players on top. It's still Vince and Austin. It's still Rock and Triple H. It's still Undertaker and Kane. Like it's not until to me 19 when all of that is different. Like everything is different then.
See, I liken it to yes, everything is different. But is there a change when Hogan turns heel in the NWO? It changes the whole promotion, right? Puts everybody in different roles. It casts people in different things. So
but
right
Austin's
after this,
like back to being a face like 8 months later and doing the same thing.
Yeah, but by then you're onto something else anyway. You're onto the Invasion. You're onto WCW.
Yeah.
Like
I would argue this is more the end of. I would argue it's the end of the Monday Night Wars era, not the Attitude Era. To me, Attitude goes on a little bit longer. And maybe it's just the wasteland of Attitude at the tail end. But to me, this is the end of the Monday Night Wars. Like this is the cap off. WCW was bought 2 weeks before. ECW got bought. They got WCW guys sitting there, jacket off in the suite, watching WWF, the crowning moment with their biggest show. So like to me, it's like the end of that era.
Yeah.
So if that's Attitude to you, then that's fine. I just think we have maybe different definitions of what the Attitude Era is.
I think we're arguing tiny little semantics, but no matter what, whether it's the peak or whether it's the end, it's hugely significant.
Thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it kicks off his heel turn. It kicks off probably his best run.
In ring.
Yeah.
Oh God, is it an 8 or a 9? Like it's that high.
If he doesn't win here, what changes?
Nothing.
Because maybe it's not as high. If Rock retains and Austin still turns heel and chases the belt as a heel with Vince, it still does his heel run. It's still a great match.
Yeah.
So
but
does that mean
the turn does happen? No, because the turn does happen and the turn matters. Right?
No, but the turn could happen anyway if he just doesn't, even if he doesn't win, I'm saying. Because you're arguing the title change is super significant. Whereas I think you're looking at it more the moment.
I'm arguing that the character change is the significant one. And that I'm arguing the character change and the direction of the promotion is the significant moment, not the title change itself.
But this is about the title change, right? So I think it's not as high as you think, because I guess what I'm trying to say. Because I think you could have done all that independent of the title change.
Right, but you didn't. Like you can't separate them because they happen at the same time. Like like so, but they did do it, so it counts. I don't know. I think this is high. It's probably like a good 8 or 9.
I'd go 8. I think a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I think the moment is hurt by Vince in the ring. but I love the pounding him into jelly. What's your gut on moment?
10.
You think 10?
This is a tough one
it.
for me because I'm trying to separate my own feelings from like the reality of it. And the reality is it's the most memorable close to a Mania, probably, at least one of the top. Everyone has this probably, as most people have it, as the best Mania of all time. This match is a big part of it. It really does, if nothing else, probably ends Austin Vince, if you want to put an end of an era on something. The original Austin McMahon.
Just how much does that McMahon in the ring acting like that hurt the moment for you?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to count this as a significant turn and moment, and that's part of it. So to me, you either downgrade it all or it's an all-timer. Like you can't have both because that heel turn and moment, those go hand in hand. So if it's significant because of them coming together, the heel turn and him winning the belt, then the moment is all time.
Well, I agree, I think, in principle, but you could make the argument that it wasn't the turn that made his heel turn great. It was his work later that kind of brought the heel turn up because
well, then you got to lower the significance. Because you're saying the heel turn, the work later is what makes it great in retrospect, not this moment.
No, because it all leads to that. That's what the significance is. The significance for me is that the turn happens and it changes everything in the promotion. And it's a title change and it's their biggest show and right? The moment itself is, so are we, what I guess the point I'm trying to make is, are we looking at his heel run and saying, well, his heel run was so good, so it plays into this moment? Or
no, I'm looking at it as it's the biggest devil's advocate, right? I always argued I'm a 19 truther, but whatever. So it's probably the greatest WrestleMania of all time, the biggest arena to that point, the end of the Monday Night Wars, the end of Attitude, Austin and McMahon coming together after their years-long war to join forces to take out the other biggest star in the company. They stand tall, they clanking beers. It's like, I don't know what more WWE moments there are beyond that. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's their moment.
Yeah, I guess the flip side of that though is we can think of a million ways it could have been better, right? We talked about it as it was happening, right?
Yeah.
But then again, that's all opinion. That's subjective with this whole project.
Right. It's such nuance of it's like it doesn't. I don't think it changes anything if they do it the way we talked about it.
Here's where it is. Here's my issue: is that the heel turn made total sense, right? Based on the story they were telling beforehand. The teaming with Vince didn't. Like, that's where there's something off with it for me. And yeah, like no matter what, the heel turn changes the promotion because you could have Austin as a heel without Vince and it's fine too, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think there's no more WWF moment than that.
I think there's a couple.
But
I mean, Hogan slamming Andre, you know, like those are the ones.
What else? Hogan, Andre, Brett, and Austin with the bleeding and the sharpshooter.
Sean jumping off the ladder at 10,
or Sean on the zip line. I mean, Brock beating Taker.
Yeah, that's later. I'm talking. Yeah, up to this point.
Which Mania ended with a bigger moment than this? Brian at 30,
maybe. Yeah, 31 with Seth cashing in and stealing the belt.
Yeah, that's not bigger than this though.
I don't know. I think close.
I think 30. I think 30 is the only one that's like a realistic contender to like the moment. Maybe Austin and Tyson, and Hogan Andre. Like that to me, those are
Hogan Warrior. Hogan losing to Warrior, like that was
Hogan T.
Look, not now, but at the time, Benoit winning.
Yeah, but it still wasn't a bit like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably at a 10. I'm at a 10. I think. I don't love myself for doing it, but I don't see the argument that it's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9, and the reason is because we came up with so many ways that it could have been improved. That like.
Yeah, I just feel like those ways are like personal nitpick.
Sure.
It's like
But
it's almost like Hell in a it's like Hell in a Cell with Kane. Like I don't like the weak tombstone, but I think I'm on an island. Like most people
Yeah.
are fine with the weak tombstone and consider that a 5-star classic, right? That weak tombstone has always bothered me, but it doesn't really change anything, right? Like this has
But
bothered
it
me, but
does.
it doesn't
It does
really.
because there's been times where we've talked about this match, Undertaker Michaels, and you've docked it as a consequence.
But me
right?
personally, but it doesn't change the
But
grand scope of what the match did.
No, but in a project that we would do together, like ranking all the
Yeah.
October matches or whatever, you would knock it for that. So why wouldn't you use that same
Well, I
logic
would
here?
knock it, but I would usually get like say I get it and I go with
Oh,
the flow.
I
Like,
get it too.
yeah.
I get it too. Like I'm just trying to rationalize. The reason I'm articulating my position is not to say you're wrong or the viewer's
I know.
wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to tell you where I'm coming from with it. And if I'm on an island, I'm on an island, but I'm going 9 and not 4. You know?
We'll see if it costs it. All right, build. The build is interesting because I think the build low key sucks. It's only that that SmackDown face to face and then the My Way video that really puts it over the hump. You get Deborah and The Rock and all that bullshit. It's aimless.
Rock just won the
No Way Out
the month before.
Yeah. I think I'm at 5, and that's all in the back of that. I need it, I want it, and then the My Way.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Aftermath. I think I might be at a 10 for Aftermath. I love Austin's run. I think we talked about it being one of the all-time
You get
runs.
the 2-man power trip. You get Austin's run. It really leads to the invasion because Austin gets pissed at Vince and goes to WCW. Rock goes to Hollywood and comes back. I'm fine with a 10 there.
And then eventually you get their other match with Rock. Part of the story was he was never able to beat him. So that kind of plays into it too.
All right. So that puts it at a total score of 85.
You know what it's going to do? It's funny. It's not going to touch our top, but it's going to bridge that gap a bit.
Yeah.
We have that gap. So it's going to finish right now. It's going to sit in at, we'll get to it, I guess, when we throw it up there.
But what kills it, I guess, is it the build? Because what do those other ones have that this? Yeah, it's the build.
It's the build. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go up to 7-8 on the build for both of us, then that's right at the top, near the top.
Yeah. Yeah. And like even my putting it at 9 didn't change anything. So I'm kind of happy about that. Maybe it will down the line. But wow. I don't know if I was expecting for it to finish that high. But I guess it makes sense.
I figured top 5. I think I was a little higher on the match of moment than I expected coming in. But again,
still not up to 5.
No, but you had to go 10 because 9 would have been too low. 9 would have been too low.
And with that, we say farewell to a match in our top 10
and the Attitude Era.
Good. And to the Attitude and to the the match in the top 10 that's leaving, it's now 11th, is Randy Savage versus Ric Flair from WrestleMania 8.
No, that's 10. You didn't put it in yet. Okay. Yes, that will be 11th now. And that's that. Well, and that's a tie break. So Mankind Rock from, is that January 4th?
Oh no, it's Mankind Rock, excuse me, that's pushed out.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
something off.
All right. So Mankind Rock from Survivor Series 98 Deadly Games falls out of the top 10.
That's it.
Savage Flair and Mankind Rock on Raw are tied still. If 2-man, all right, he's got the graphic. So if you're watching on YouTube, we get the graphic coming up. We'll read down our top 10.
That's right. It's been a while since we had to change it.
Yeah, big night. All right.
Number
so 9
10,
and 10 are tied. We said it, right?
Yeah.
72 points. Rock Mankind, January 4th, Savage Flair, WrestleMania 8. All right, what's 8?
Yeah. 8 is Steve Austin. Here we go. Steve Austin defeating The Rock, WrestleMania 15 with 73 points.
Okay. Number 7, Andre the Giant over Hulk Hogan at the main event of February 88 at 75 points.
Number 6, Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik, 76 points. MSG.
Number 5 is Ric Flair winning the world title at the Royal Rumble, 78 points.
Number 4, what we just talked about, Steve Austin defeating The Rock, WrestleMania X7, 85 points. Big jump up.
All
there.
right, so that's a good gap, a good jump over the Flair one, like you said, but still some distance between our top three. So our third best is Bret Hart versus The Undertaker, SummerSlam 97 at 90 points.
Our second best is Steve Austin defeating Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14, 93 points.
And our number one title change of all time is still Montreal, Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart, 94 points, Survivor Series 97. I'll say I think the biggest surprise to me, if you would have told me going into this project, is that Austin Michaels is over this match that we just watched. I'd say that's I could have seen the argument for Montreal. I probably could have seen the argument for Bret and Shawn. I mean, Bret and Taker, just because of the Shawn stuff and the angle and all that. I would have been pretty surprised, I think, to know that Austin Michaels is like 10 points almost higher than Austin and Rock.
Oh yeah. And this is the one too that, like, when we started the project, seemed like the obvious one that might take the number one.
Right. Yeah.
Like when we talked, I remember like when we were doing 92 and Flair, we're like, oh, we got one coming in a little while. And it was always this one in our minds. Right.
Yeah. I mean, looking forward, there's nothing that there's nothing that leaps out at me that, like, I think there's top 10 options in here, but nothing leaps out at me as like a real contender to this top 4. Maybe top 5.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to make a case for Rock Brock maybe, but
yeah,
I don't know.
See it.
Yeah. Maybe Cena JBL. I know that sounds stupid. It'll get hit on match quality, but everything else will be up. Like
Punk, Cena, Money in the Bank probably is the next maybe big contender.
That's a hard one because the thing that's going to kill that one is the aftermath, because he leaves. Right. Oh, the build is going to be.
Yeah, 10. I guess it's got the pipe bomb. Yeah. The aftermath. I mean, you got Cena Brock at SummerSlam 14. There's a chance for that. The main event from 31.
Yeah, that'll get dinged on aftermath too, though, because they kind of undo that the next month at Night of Champions. Yeah. When Roman comes back and beats Bray and Braun Strowman, it's not a great match, but
yeah. But as you can see, like, we're just kind of throwing darts. Maybe RVD Cena. When I say, but that has a shitty aftermath as well. So
that's it. Like what's cool about this project is it really is like a global view of it, right? So nothing like, look, there's 5-star matches coming up, but they're not going to finish in the top 10 probably.
No. So that's it. Project's over. No, we'll keep going, but there'll be some. We'll see what hits. So thanks for joining us. We're here every Saturday, No Holds Barred. So we'll be back next week. I believe we'll have a different episode, a little project, maybe another draft. So we'll see what we got going on. And then 2 weeks from today, we'll be here with Unforgiven 01, Austin versus Angle in Pittsburgh. So we'll see how that checks out. Sure, subscribe, North South Connection on YouTube, on podcast apps, follow us on social media. The Dookies dropped. We are out. Talk to you in a week.
Yeah, jockass.